Hello, this is Bruce Ramsey. The date today is February 6th, 1991. And what I'm about to read to you is a continuation of the story Newtin As Fiery End from the novel that I wrote, this novel called Newtin As a Man, which, so far, I believe is the best Newton novel I've ever written. And I will continue reading it to you. Are you insane? asked Callisto to Newton. Before Newton could speak, Callisto said, "You would leave the greatest ship in the universe to live out a boring existence on a dull, old-fashioned planet? Only Sheena could be my wife. How about it, Sheena? Will you marry me?" said Newton to Sheena. Suddenly, Storm broke in and said, "Sheena, you love me, though, don't you?" Sheena looked quickly at Storm, then at Newton. She made an uncomfortable sound, then looked helplessly at Newton. Newton looked angrily at Storm. Yeah. Sheena made an uncomfortable sound, then looked helplessly at Newton. Newton looked angrily at Storm. A few days later, Newton and his crew felt like they were going to go crazy. Not only did Newton and Storm want Sheena, but Callisto as well. Obacoba and Mason were crazy about her also. So frustrated did the crew get that fights began to break out aboard the ship. A fist fight started up between Newton and Storm. Newton ended up smacking Storm around the generator room. The two quit when they saw Sheena on the floor of the generator room, on the floor of the generator, crying, sobbing, "I can't be the cause of this. I don't want to be the cause of this." Sheena started flipping out when Newton ordered her to choose who she loved the best on the ship. She, so sad and nervous did she become that she had a breakdown and fell unconscious on the floor. "No!" yelled Storm and Newton. They ran over and picked her up. "You cannot die." "We're in hell, Newton," said Storm. "It's all your fault for wanting to get a body that would feel," said Callisto angrily at Newton. Newton sat down in his throne with his face covered in his hands. Obacoba started laughing. He then smiled and said, "Well, at least you aren't bored now. "Shut up, Oba," shouted Newton angrily. Suddenly Newton got an idea. I know what can stop this." "What?" asked depressed Storm. "Well, we're all crazy about Sheena, right?" "Right. But we're tearing her apart because she loves us and we're fighting over her. Why don't we put an ad out to all... why don't we put an end to all this by dating?" "Dating?" asked Callisto with a puzzled look. "Yes. We'll take Mutania to Gossix. That planet has the prettiest woman in the galaxy on it, in all shapes and sizes and colors. Yes, but a lot of them are whores," said Mason. "Hey, that's even better," laughed Newton. "Whores aren't attached to anyone but money. We can show them Mutania, awestruck them with our greatness, and settle down, have families." The crew didn't think too highly of Newton's plan, but they tried it out anyway. They beamed down on the planet Gossix and went about the streets looking for pretty girls. The robot Zeb stayed aboard Mutania, waiting to beam them aboard when they found the girl they felt like that they could live with forever. Gossix was a planet that the Federation used a lot for shore leave now, so instilling the girls with awe and wonder didn't work very well anymore. It didn't work very well. Newtin was very crazy about Sheena, so he made sure he beamed up with a girl that he wouldn't get stuck with. The others were thinking the same thing, but the girls they beamed up were so thrilled to be away from the life of prostitution that they felt like they were rescued by angels. Obacoba, Mason, and Callisto, Mason, Storm, and Callisto, did in fact meet the girls of their dreams after all. Except for Newtin. Newtin beamed down the prostitute he beamed up because he was just too crazy about Sheena. A few weeks later, they all got married aboard Mutania by the ship's computer. Newtin and Sheena were then called up to the computer, and the computer asked, "Do you, Newtin, take Sheena as your wife to love and uphold as long as you two shall live?" Newtin looked at Sheena, then said, "Not yet." "What?" asked the crew. Newtin said, "You'll probably think we're crazy, but Sheena and I have decided to not live on Mutania anymore. We're going to get married and live on the planet Sardana. We're going to get married on Sardana." "You're going to leave Mutania?" asked the shocked crew. "More than that, I'm going to destroy Mutania so it doesn't fall into wrong hands." Newton's crew looked at Newton like he was insane. You are going to destroy Mutania? Your very own ship? The greatest ship in the galaxy?" asked an angry Callisto. "Don't. Please don't," begged Mason's wife. Newton walked over to the throne and said, "Mutania is a terrifying ship, built by the wickedest, the most wicked and most brilliant race to ever threaten the universe. It was actually created by evil. I no longer want to run Mutania, and I certainly don't want this ship falling into someone's hands. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. It would be very hard for someone to have this powerful ship and not use it for evil. I and Sheena want to live on Sardana without the fear that some maniac is going about burning up civilizations with Mutania, including Sardana." Newton's crew didn't know what to think of Newton. Obacoba started crying. "Newton, please don't destroy Mutania. It's been through so much. Taken us through so much. I don't care if it was created by evil forces. It's not evil now." Callisto then broke in and said, "Instead of destroying it, why don't you give it to me? I'd love to be captain of Mutania." "No, give it to me. I'd like to be its captain," begged Mason. Newton sat down in the throne and said, "Everyone wants to be the captain of Mutania. You are starting to fight over it already." "No, my plan seems to be the best. The destruction of Mutania and a new life for all of us." Newton's crew said, "Okay," but deep down they hated Newton for his new idea. A few days later, when Newton brought the idea up to Callisto, Callisto punched Newton in the head. The two started fighting it out. Callisto's body was actually aged longer than Newton's, so it was stronger, and he began to punch Newton out. Storm stopped Callisto. Newton gasped for air, then shouted, "Believe it or not, Callisto, since you wanted Mutania so much, I was going to give it to you. But since you cracked my nose, I shall continue on with my original plans." A few days later, Newton and his crew began to grow bored by watching the stars go by on the viewing screen again. It was then that his bored crew decided to take up planetary living. Newton said, where would you like to spend your honeymoons?" His crew began to tell them. Newton then turned on the computer and started pressing buttons to the answers his crew gave him. Newton walked down to the transporter room and pressed a button, then turned the switch. His crew watched his every move. Newton then picked up the necessary materials they would need to live and thrive on those planets. "Is this it?" asked Bacoba. Newton said, "Tomorrow, Mutania takes a nosedive into a sun." Newton's crew looked down, feeling very depressed, thinking Newton was out of his gourd. The next day, Newton announced to his crew, "My crew, I now shall show you my secret room." Newton walked out of the bridge and into the generator room with his crew following him. He walked over to one of the generators and pressed a secret button under one of the panels. When he did that, a big hole appeared on the bottom of the floor. His crew looked into the darkness of the hole. Suddenly, light went on, revealing another spaceship. Newton stepped down into it. They were shocked and couldn't believe that Newton kept it hidden from them for all these ages aboard Mutania. The spaceship was small, about the size of a 2-bedroom house, and was circular, saucer-shaped to fit among Mutania's engines. The ship was so old that it was dusty. Newton smiled and said, The robot Zintar built this small craft as a device to escape in case we managed to destroy all its destructing killer devices. Apparently, it lied when it said that Jabog was all that mattered. I just wonder where Zintar would try to fly off to if it failed in killing us. Do you think it will work? Asked Callisto. Oh yes. During my sleepless mutant life, I spent many hours studying the machinery of this craft. It has 0 weapons, 0 transporters, no life support, but it will get you to your destination because it's designed to go back to the galaxy of Industrial. Did you say 0 life support? Asked his crew with fear. Well, it's designed for a robot, a machine. Zintar was a very self-centered robot. I doubt that he'd ever think we would be using it, laughed Newton. Newton's crew weren't about to even think about using the craft as an escape craft. They thought Newton was insane for destroying Mutania, and his idea seemed to prove it. Callisto then shocked the crew by telling them that it sounded like a good idea. You must be crazy, Callisto. You must be, shouted Bacoba. Callisto walked up to Newton and said, Newton, I realize you are bent on destroying Mutania, but could you at least give that craft to me and my new wife as a wedding gift when you are done using it? Newton thought for a while. Callisto said, it doesn't have weapons to threaten life on planets with. Newton thought further and said, okay, Callisto. As a wedding present, you may have that ship when I'm done taking the crew to their destinations. Newton then told his crew that they would all go to sleep, and when they would awake, Mutania would be a thing of their past. Before they did go to bed, Callisto said, I think we should celebrate our final night aboard Mutania. And they all did. As he celebrated, Callisto told his wife to strip and dance sexually about the bridge to get the others all hot and sweaty for their wives. She did what Callisto ordered, and after the celebrating, everyone was having a good time with their wife. Newton wasn't married to Sheena, so he had a hard time controlling his body. He just had Sheena naked when he was in his clothes. As the hours went by, Newton became so hot and horny that he decided to pour cold water all over him. Newton walked out of his cell and heard muffled laughter. Callisto was doing something with the ship's computer. "What are you doing with the computer?" asked Newton. Callisto quickly pressed a button and said, I want to beat the ship's computer once, I want to beat the ship's computer once and for all in a game of chess. I don't want to leave by saying, what if? Oh, said Newton. And Newton was telling the truth. Callisto quickly pressed the button again and looked warily as he tried to program the ship for something. The next day, Newton's crew looked really sad. Newtania was now orbiting Earth. Mason and his wife stepped up onto the transporter plates. Storm and his wife got up there, and their luggage also. Do you have everything?" asked Newton. They said yes. Newton looked sad and said, I hope your book sells. I'm pretty sure you'll make millions with what you have gone through on Newtania, my clone." Newton hugged Mason and then shook Storm's hand. "God forgive me," he said, and he pressed the button, then turned the switch. Watching them go was like a dagger in Newton's side. A few weeks later, Obakoba and his wife got up onto the transporter plates as Newtania orbited around the planet Kumba. By now, Newton and his crew were crying. "Live long and populate," said Obakoba, and Newton then watched his old friend's atoms flare up, with his wife's then disappear. Seeing that caused Newton to crumble to his knees. "Beam them back, Newton, beam them back," begged Sheena. "No, we've got to progress. We've got to live. Newtania is stagnating our human existences." Newton then ran out of the transporter room. He crashed down onto the throne and started crying. "I feel like I have just killed my crew." Sheena started kissing him. Newton groaned and said, "Gosh, change is painful, even if it's for the better. It's really, really agonizing. What's got into me? Am I doing the right thing? What's compelling me to want to what's compelling me to live on that planet? On that planet Sardana? Is my love for that planet a rational one?" Callisto looked sad, as did his wife. He went down the hall and came back with a champagne bottle. He poured the champagne into brass goblets and gave one to the depressed Newton. "To us," said Callisto. The four clinked goblets and drank down the champagne. "I think I'll have another one," said Newton, and he drank another one down. Newton then suddenly felt compelled to drink the whole bottle, and he did. "Newton, really?" laughed Callisto. "Newton, really?" laughed Callisto. "Gee, I sure hope the Branco body isn't prone to alcoholism," said a worried Sheena. Newton shocked the crew by getting a dull, glass-eyed look in his eyes. "Shall we go?" he asked, without emotion. Newton walked over to his throne and pressed a button. Suddenly, the floor in the middle of the bridge split apart, and a large ship's computer came up out of it. Newton began pressing buttons on it. As he programmed the ship to fly into the nearest sun, Callisto was playing a chess game on the other side of it. His wife watched him and became shocked to see Callisto making a lot of illogical moves. "Why did you bring your king out?" she asked him. Callisto just smiled. "It's finished," said Newtin As in a monotone, and he and the rest of the inhabitants of Newtania descended down into the small, cramped escape craft. Newton buckled himself down into his seat and asked, "Do we have all the oxygen containers?" "Yes," said three others. Newton then told his crew to put on their space helmets and to turn on their suits when the air would start to get bad. A few minutes later, Newton said, "Here we go," and he pressed a button. Suddenly the ship began making a loud siren-like sound as the engines kicked in. Newton pressed another button. All of a sudden, the bottom side of Mutania opened up. The crew saw the shiny, bright stars of the universe shining through a thick, leaded window of the craft. Suddenly, the stars began moving. "What's happening?" asked Sheena. "Mutania is now traveling toward the closest sun," said Newton. "We're still attached to it," yelled Callisto frightenedly. Callisto's frightened wife. "Don't worry," said Newton in a daze, and he pressed a button, causing the craft to start shaking. "What's happening?" screamed Dirtha, Callisto's wife. He started sobbing, sobering up. He checked the controls. Something on the ship is keeping us from moving. Something on the ship is keeping us from moving, he shouted. Newton then looked frightened and said, "Zeeb! Zeeb is keeping us from going. We'll have to take Zeeb with us." Newton turned off the ship's engines Had he and his crew put their spacesuits on, then opened the hatch to the top of the craft. "Zeeb, let go of the ship," demanded Newton. "Take me with you," the robot girl demanded back. "Come with us." Zeeb pressed a button to the tractor beam, turning it off. Zeeb then entered the craft also. Several seconds later, the spaceship shot away from Mutania's suicidal flight. The craft then stopped in the middle of space when Newton stopped it. What are you doing, Newton?" asked Sheena. Newton moved over to the TV screen, over to two TV screens and turned them on. When the screens lit up, one television screen showed the outer hull of Mutania. The other showed the bridge. Newton whined a little when he saw his stone statue of a bird perched above his throne again. Although Mutania's generators were humming as it accelerated through space, the bridge looked very peaceful. Newton then looked at the other TV screen that showed Mutania's outer hull as it got closer and closer to a star that began to grow brighter and brighter. Callisto, Dirtha, and Sheena looked away. They couldn't dare watch what was about to happen, especially Sheena. It was almost like watching the death of a close friend. Newton watched the star grow larger and larger. "I can't watch," said a tearful Sheena. "Tell me when it's over," said Callisto. Suddenly the sun filled half the viewing screen and grew faster. The outer hull of Mutania got brighter and brighter. Newton's eyes began to bulge. He started breathing harder and harder. The bridge of Mutania started distorting due to the increasing heat waves effects on the camera. Newton started shaking. No, he started to say. "God, what have I done? I can't... this can't be happening." Suddenly, the outer hull of Mutania began to glow red. The camera that was taping it started to get snowy, and a huge warped image of the sun was now seen on the viewing screen. Newton started flipping out. He cried and raved. He leaped into his seat and turned on the ship's engines. Suddenly the spacecraft turned about and made a quick warp to the sun to hopefully save Mutania. "No, Newton, don't," shouted Sheena. "You'll kill us." My ship, shouted Newton with madness in his eyes. The ship got faster and faster. It was now traveling 20 times faster to the sun than Mutania was. "If I can just push against the side of Mutania, it could maybe send it off course." "It's too late, Newton," said Callisto. "Mutania just burned up in the sun." Newton let out a painful "no," then fell. This next one I'm about to read you is called Sardana. The air was cool, clean and fresh as Newton and Sheena watched the first sun rays of Sardana. before the two saw the first blinding rays of the sun that would burst up over a grassy hill. And before they two saw the first blinding rays of the sun that would burst up over the grassy hill, Newtin and Sheena saw the last bits of light from the craft that brought them here disappear into the golden horizon. "I sure hope I did the right thing," said Newtin. "You did, Newtin. I think you did," said Sheena, and they started kissing. Several hours later, the two walked into the nearest town. Since they wore spacesuits for clothes, Newtin and Sheena got a lot of stares. Everyone else was dressed up like they were out of the 1950s and 60s. "This is getting embarrassing," said Sheena. "Yes, you're right. One thing is for sure, they aren't used to seeing people from other planets walking down their sidewalks," said Newtin. The two then agreed to buy clothes that wouldn't be so attention-getting. They walked into a clothes store. After picking out the clothes they wanted, they went to buy them. But even though they had diamonds, the salesman asked for cash. "Who are you?" asked the suspicious clothes salesman when Newtin asked him if he would take a diamond for the clothes. "You think this is fake, don't you?" asked Newtin. The man looked shifty-eyed. Newtin and Sheena then realized that they would have to go to a jeweler. A few hours later, Newtin and Sheena were sitting in a motel room watching boring shows on a black and white television set. Sheena looked worried and saw Newtin pacing back and forth from extreme boredom. "What's the matter, Newtin?" she asked, not really wanting an answer. Newtin had a depressed, anxiety-ridden look on his face. I don't know what's the matter," replied Newtin, and he crashed down onto a sofa with a sigh. "I'm bored," he said. "Well, let's do something," laughed Sheena. "We're not married yet. Do you want to get married tonight?" "Sure," said Sheena, and they were married in the courthouse. They were now called Mr. and Mrs. Matt Mason Newtin. But since Newtin wanted a new leash on life, each decided to go by his new name, Matt, his new name. Newtin and Sheena still had a hard time fighting off boredom. They ended up having to get a house on Sardana. Since Newtin didn't know anything about semi-20th century Earth living, he had to try to support Sheena and himself with very boring and routine jobs like dishwashing and lawn mowing. Newtin and Sheena got a lot of money from one of their diamonds, but lost it the second week they were in Sardana due to gambling. On the third week, their money began to run out, and that was when the boring job searching began to start. "What in the hell have I done to myself?" shouted Newtin as he dried the dishes in a restaurant. Sheena was waiting tables in the same place with a look of depression on her face. The manager threatened to fire her if she didn't smile more. So depressed and bored did she become that she started messing up on her orders. She ended up serving another table by mistake. The manager heard the people complaining and she was fired. Newtin felt like breaking some dishes to get fired also, but he knew that would be the end of their food supply. So